I guess what I became known for is doing stupid things. You know, some of them are expensive, some of them are just, I try to do things differently. And when you do it that way, sometimes things work out and sometimes they don't. For instance, today I went to go look at a bush hog. My old place was flat and I could bush hog in road gear if I wanted to. This place has a lot of hills, so that 6-foot bush hog on that 40 horse tractor, I'd like to be a little bit smaller bush hog so it's less weight. So I went to look at the bush hog, didn't buy it, but the man had some goats for sale. So I bought the goats. Now, that doesn't seem bad, except I don't have any fencing for goats. So I'm gonna spend the rest of the evening getting up some hot wire fence inside of this little corral or pen that is built. But I'm gonna go ahead and just put 2, maybe 3 strands of hot wire through here, and that should be a good temporary fence to keep them in, because electric fence is kind of a psychological barrier. The woven wire fence is more of a physical barrier. So this size here, of course, they can stick their head through there and get their horns caught. So this is not good for goats. But having that electric fence on the outside of this, 2 strands or so, should kind of get the psychological effect of not touching the fence, and then the cattle fence would be that physical barrier. They should not try to get through that. So of course there's no foolproof way to keep a goat in, but I think with this existing fence, the most economical way for me to do this, especially since it'll be temporary, is to run that hot wire through there. So that's what we're going to do now. So a lot of this I'm going to eventually redo. Those boards are going to pop off before too long. So if you haven't used these before, very simple. Take that, make sure it slides through that hole at the bottom. When you realize you forget your hammer, go grab it. I do need one down towards the ground, and that's going to grow up into that wire pretty quickly. So I'll have to spray this. And then the spacing on these, it's just patch and fence like this. The spacing of these is just kind of dependent on each individual job. But I'll just put them about every 15, 20 feet or so. In fact, I guess I'll go right down to this one here where it's the last one with these wood planks on it. That is getting pretty low, but I think we'll stick with that theme. I'm gonna go get my bolt cutters and clear some of that. Okay, let's get rid of some of this loose barbed wire. I hate barbed wire. It just seems a bit cruel, but if you're gonna have cattle, I guess it's kind of okay. They don't seem to get into it much, but we have a responsibility to take care of the animals. I'm gonna eventually refence this. I gotta see if I can find a grounding rod. I know I brought a couple up here, but I haven't seen any. I wanted to get a little bit of fencing done rather than trying to play catch up on fence, get it all fenced properly and then start bringing in the animals. But oh well, didn't work that way. I don't know if you've used these before, but I've smashed my fingers so many times nailing these in. And I think it's because you don't have much wiggle room, but this thing moves as you nail it, and I think it makes my eyes go wonky. I'm gonna come through and trim some of those thistles. I don't know, that's a bit of a problem. It looks like these panels, looks like that electric fence is gonna run into these panels, so, because that'll sure ground that fence out. Might even need to put another set of clips on that post. It is a little muggy out here, but thankfully Thankfully, it's not that 100-degree weather. A little bit of barbed wire to get off of here. I wish I had my forks on the tractor. I think I'll go put them on. That'll make it just a little bit easier. Let me get those lined up. That's a pretty heavy-duty chain to keep one of those panels against the fence. I guess that's tied in just on that barbed wire in the corner. So I'm gonna try just lifting that out. Alright, so more than likely I'm going to grab that barbed wire. Or did I get lucky? I might have got lucky. See if I get back centered on this. There we go. Alright. That's all that pigweed in there. That could kill the goats since they're not in the healthiest condition. Alright, I started back out here and Beans jumped in. He probably won't stay out here 5 minutes and he'll be heading back to the house. Licking my arm on a bit of an incline. Why are you licking my arm? Well, so they make different kinds of these porcelain insulators, so I'm gonna do this corner a little different. Hey, if you want down, get down. Come on, Beans. I just get those started, stick a screwdriver in there, tighten her on down. I'll go get my gloves. Look at that. Are you driving, Beans? I'm gonna have to cut that fence. I could have grabbed a bigger insulator, but because that fence sticks out. Oh geez, it's not even stable. That might be why. That should keep that metal from grounding out on the fence. Beans is back to driving. Kind of wish I knew where my gloves were. Oh, that's why they put those panels up. Guess whoever put this fence up didn't like staples or concrete. What's wrong, Beans? Come on. Come on. Good boy. Beans. All right, let's... I don't know if I got bit by something or poked by something. Come on. You hear the police? They're coming after you. You gotta stay away from the police. They might haul you off. All right, we gotta go find some more of those insulators. The problem is there's a 60% chance of a thunderstorm this morning. So I need to get this fence in as quickly as possible. So I got the fence rolled out. I just got to come back and run it through these insulators. I should probably hook it to the tractor. All right, I told you I do dumb things. So here we are. I went an hour and a half away to pick up a gearbox for a 4-foot bush hog and didn't get the gearbox, but what I did get was a bunch of sick goats. Come on. So let's get these offloaded. Come on. Yeah. These goats are pretty thin. I'll tell the full story on a longer video. I just wanted to get these out. Come on. Come on. And there's the Billy. Come on. And one, check out what I did. This one here was so sick that I put her in that bag. I didn't think she would make it in the back of that trailer. So I hung her in that bag. They didn't know who the mama was to any of these. So tomorrow they're gonna get all worked up. We're gonna try to figure out who the mama is. All right, I'm gonna let them eat some grass and I'm gonna get this secured tonight so they can get in here. I'm gonna turn Casper loose out there. He hasn't been around goats for a while. I wasn't sure how Casper would do since he hasn't been around goats in a while, but in true Pyrenees fashion, he's standing at the high spot. He picked up right where he left off. He's on patrol, already on guard, so he clocked in for the evening. So we got these goats and they are not in the best condition. There were 18 goats, I believe, I bought. And those 18 goats were on a pasture of 1.5 acres. And I didn't see any feed, so I'm going to assume they have parasites, worms, tapeworms, whatever it might be. So I don't really have a setup for goats yet, but I'm gonna make this makeshift place where I can just give them a quick examination. Plan then is we will call the goats into here, and since I'm not set up that well for goats right now, we'll just hopefully get them into here. They drank plenty of water last night and they got all the food, so that's good. So they're used to getting feed in here, so I'll try to call them in here, and then we'll secure them in here and we'll do all the worming and trim their hooves and just give them a quick go over to see what they look like. We'll put that feed against that back wall. Hopefully they'll all get in, get occupied with that, and we'll shut the gate. I don't know how easy these goats are to manage or handle, but we're about to find out. So I couldn't find any of my tools or equipment that I needed to deworm them, so I had to go out and bought all brand new, but you can get these in any feed store or wherever you go. But I got Cydectin, just producer's pride, some trimmers. I'm going to take a look at their feet. I've got a drench gun, got a little bit of a power punch. I haven't used this Merrick's blue ribbon power punch before, but I'm sure it's fine. And I got a marking stick because I don't know the goats yet, so as I get them in here and get them worked, I'll go ahead and mark them. And then I got what everybody is familiar with, the FAMACHA score. So, you know, dewormers are kind of funny. There's not much on the market for goats and that, but we make do with what we have. So whatever brand you use and whatever the size of your goats, just take a look at the manufacturer's recommendation and follow it from there. But I was wondering how hard it was going to be to get these goats in here. I'm guessing not very hard, because right there they all are. So we'll get them called in here and get to work. Goats, come on, goat, goat. Yeah, get some more in there. There's only 2 or 3 in there eating all that food. Let's go, go. Yep. Yeah. Poor little girl. Boy, I don't know if she'll make it, but we're going to give it a try. So I built this a lot of years ago. My other place, I had a chute that had a plank that walked up to this, but so you just put the goat's head in there, shut it, and then they can't get out. Pretty easy setup. You can work pretty well. Let's see who's going to be first. All right, they told me they haven't messed with the buck much, and I would have to agree. It was kind of tough to get up here. Which I would guess he may have never had a hoof trim, so he's not used to his legs being picked up, but all you're doing is trimming this growth off. There's various tools or whatever, pruning shears like these or whatever. There we go. Good job, boy. So again, he's got growth all over the entire length, so we'll just So with most of the goat dewormers, there are a few exceptions. They're pretty safe to administer over. So if you're worried or concerned, you can, there's just no meat on there at all. We'll get them fattened up here soon. Let me grab this little one if I can. Okay, good luck to you. All right, this little doe here, she looks like she's in decent shape, but in the back, she's got a pretty full bag. But man, that's hard. So I think just because she's been in with all these others, the chances are pretty high that she's got some parasites. And Cydectin is supposed to be safe for pregnant does, or I would say she's a couple of weeks away. I forgot to mark her. Okay, who's next? Okay. She's getting a little bag going too. Hopefully if you own goats or sheep, that you don't let their hooves get grown over the entire hoof. Hold on, girl. And I don't know if I'm getting older, but this is about the strongest goat I've messed with in a while. She's significantly stronger. Hopefully we got to these before she calmed right down once. Well, that's a good sign. They couldn't tell me who the mama was of that sick one. So right there we have it. So she's the one with the white spot between her horns. So I bought 18. If I counted right, I have 7 done. Well, 8 if you include that little baby. So we're almost halfway done, and it's hot out here. I don't know what the temperature is. I am working in the shade though, so that's kind of nice. But these guys were in such, well, not horrible shape, but pretty bad shape, being wormy, and some of the hooves were in bad shape. So I want to get through the rest of these today. Some of them I'm worried if they're going to make it or not, but we're going to go ahead and knock out these other 10 or 11. So we're going to try to get the rest of these finished. And I'm not as young and agile as I used to be in catching these goats. And this hard mud doesn't help matters either. Let's go, mama. Relax. There you go. She could probably use a worming. She's a little on the light pink side. Let's see what her hooves look. I'm guessing she hasn't had her feet messed with very often. I promise, girl, it's not going to be that bad. Yeah, they're pretty overgrown. I guess once she realized I wasn't going to cut her foot off, she relaxed a little bit. Ooh, this one stinks. Ouch. Yeah, I might have got a little deep there, girl. Just like that, she's done. All right, here is number 18. We've got them all wormed, kind of going over, hoof trims. This one here, I did this one for the last one. She's the wildest of the bunch. So we're gonna see what this looks like. Her hooves aren't horrible. They look healthy, just haven't been trimmed recently. That was the case with all of these. I was surprised at how healthy their hooves were. Some of them were overgrown. There was none that was real damaged or anything, so I kind of expected it to be worse. All right. I kind of like this goat. Those hooves aren't horrible. She doesn't look too wormy, but I have no idea how old she is. She might be older. Oh, yeah. All right. Well, this is about the healthiest I've seen those eyes out of this whole herd. Light pink. I could probably not worm her, but I'm going to try to get these goats on a different pasture in the next couple of days. All right, you want them so bad? Go ahead. All right, so we have them done. And you know what is strange? Look at that. They didn't touch that feed. Maybe they're just liking that green grass. I'll get them back out there. Come on, goat. Come on. Come on. Let's go. Come on. This poor little girl here. At least I found out who her mama is. Let's go. Well, you can't just go in circles. Let's go. Ah! You too. You too. Let's go. You get up there with them. You get up there with them. You go. You go. Get out there. Don't let them get away from you. You tell them. You tell them. And that's just the way I marked them, the ones that I got in to go look at. But she's doing a lot better than yesterday when I picked these goats up. She could never walk this far yesterday. You go tell them. You get up there. Go. You tell her. Go. So I like pushing them back here because a bunch of this up here had that pigweed in it. And I'm not 100% certain what time of the year pigweed is bad for them. So I cut it all down yesterday. But for the most part, I like them up there grazing that grass till I can get some different pasture out here. I will keep the channel updated on the health of the goats. But for now, thanks for watching.